Hello there, Cosmic Wanderers. My name is Greg, and this is the Astral Arkitekt, where we talk all things Seven Archons, Aeon's Ascent. Seven Archons, Aeon's Ascent is a mystical strategy combat card game set in the universe of the Astral Assemblage, where you, as a purveyor of chaos, must do everything in your power to wreak as much havoc as possible on the material world, liberating each planet that you visit from the control of the nasty Archons and the Hypostasis, the Urge, and his minions. It is coming soon. I don't have an exact release date. It's still early days. We're only about 8 weeks into development, and I am pausing development to get real clear right now on what I want in the beta version of the game. Like, what are my must-haves, what are the nice-to-haves, etc. So that I can expand my team a little bit, which is right now just me, and hire a developer to help me flesh out the world of the game in software terms. And that's going really well. I've got somebody that I'm speaking to. He's just waiting for me to finish up the design document, which I'm doing here in the next couple days. Next up on the agenda is a little mention of where I'm at. Those of you that have seen the show before know that I usually do this from my studio, and I'm not in my studio. I am at my secret lab slash office. I don't know why I called it a lab or secret. This is my home away from home. I visit Kentucky a lot to be with my aunt, and she is currently having time recovering from gallbladder surgery. She's doing great, actually, but she needed somebody here to do the things that she can't while she recovers, and so here I am getting to spend a couple weeks with my aunt, and we're having a good time. It would be a better time if she would behave and listen to her doctor's instructions, but she's trying. She's used to doing everything herself. I get it. It's not exhausting at all keeping up with her. It's funny, she runs circles around me, you guys. She does. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. I'll be here for one more week, so you'll probably see one more video from here. And then off and on over the next couple months, you'll see the occasional devlog video from this little office setup I've got up here. I don't know why I felt the need to share that with you, but here we are. There's new lore. So if you check out the astralassemblage.com blog, you will find several new pieces of lore. If it's your first time there, you should find a little smorgasbord of lore pertaining to the Astral Assemblage universe that Seven Archons takes place in. And last week, on Monday, I released Calantha's Tale of Benevolence and Woe, a two-parter, 2 short stories for the price of one. Do check that out. And then I just finished the Salvific Scales saga, which was a 3-part short story about the Cosmic Serpent card and its origins and how it fits into the universe. I think that I did a pretty decent job with that story and would really like it if you check that out. So, astralassemblage.com/blog, or links down in the description if you're watching this video on YouTube. In addition to those 2 tales, we've got 2 new tales coming up. We've got Arya's Tale of Benevolence and Woe, which is as yet untitled. And then we've got the next Aspect card coming out later this week. The next Aspect card will be the Knight, and I'm very excited to share that tale with you. I have yet to write it, so I don't even know where it's going to go. I've got a vague idea of what I want to happen, but I'm not really sure. So, do check that out. Keep an eye out for that, I should say. And the best way to keep an eye out for stuff like that is the Play AA Games Twitter. So if you visit Play AA Games on Twitter, you will find near daily updates of the game's development, as well as tidbits of lore here and there. I'm kidding, there's lots of lore. To keep you entertained while I build the game. And then once I build the game, we'll be having contests, giveaways, trivia, puzzles, those kind of things on the social media channels that I run to promote the game and keep you guys entertained, which I think will be lots of fun. Up next, in this last week, It's actually been a week and a half since my last video, so one of the things that I knew I needed to do when fleshing out this game design document that I've been working on is flesh out the end game for a campaign, the final match, the big boss battle. And so for now, the concept of the big boss battle is what's called a star harness match. Once you have liberated each planet in a star system, the only thing left to do is dismantle the grand cosmic machine known as the star harnesses at the center of the star system, around the star itself. This star harness, or star harnesses, there are 7 of them, is the source of power that the Archons use to exert control over a star system. And thus it's their key to return. So if you liberate all of the planets in a star system, but you don't shut down the star harnesses, you're going to have creep. You're going to have invasions of Archons as they attempt to reestablish control. So once you defeat the Archons on the planets, you're going to want to shut that down and keep the Archons out of the system for good. To do that, you will be pitted against the Urge in a battle for control of the star harnesses. The first person to control 4 of the 7 star harnesses wins the match. The way that you assume control of the star harness is by playing combinations of 11 or 11 cards. So, for example, if at the beginning of the match you have an 11 card and the Urge has an 11 card, you would roll off to see who gets to claim control of their star harness. And as you're doing this, as you're jockeying back and forth for control of the star harnesses, void creatures are attacking in droves because there's no Archons to distract them. So they're attracted to the only source left of zoetropic light in the star system, which is the star harnesses. So you've got to shut down the star harnesses to also prevent the void creatures from devouring more zoetropic light and diminishing the fullness. After you defeat the void creatures, you can go back to the control of the star harness. But as long as a void creature's on the board, you have to deal with the void creature. So that's the challenge in the star harness match. And there's lots of playtesting that I need to do to get it just right. I don't know if I'm there yet because I can't play it other than by hand. And the challenge to playing it by hand is I haven't actually had the void creature cards printed yet, or the star harnesses. So it's not much fun at the moment to play. But I'll have those soon, and we'll be back in development within the next 9 days. So that's the first thing I think we're going to tackle after adding the logic for the void creatures. And my next announcement, which is the Cosmic Quanta cards. The Cosmic Quanta cards are ways to alter the values and abilities of your aspect cards that you use to do card combat. So there is a concept of what's called a Quanta Rush. These occur randomly during a match. They don't always occur during a match, but when they do, they inject Quanta cards, Cosmic Quanta cards, into the draw pile. When you draw one of these Cosmic Quanta cards, you get to play it immediately. You have to play it immediately. And it lasts for a dice roll of a d7 turns. So if you draw the Fool Cosmic Quanta card, and that is called Primal Essence. It looks like this. If you draw that card, you would put it into play immediately, roll a d7, and that d7 will determine the number of turns that its effects are active. So say I roll a 7, that means I get 7 turns of +1 to my Fool card, making it a 2 card. And I also have the ability to sacrifice that Quanta card. As long as it's active, I can choose to sacrifice it and bypass the need to charge my Fool card for 3 turns before I use its special ability. So it's a pretty powerful addition to the game. It's meant to help speed things up as well as just be fun and random. The Cosmic Quanta cards need playtesting as well, so that will be taken care of during the next sprint, making it possible, the next code sprint, adding in the Cosmic Quanta cards and the Void Creature cards and the logic for injecting them into the deck. That's the target of the next code sprint. After that, we'll be playtesting a new mechanic. And I might actually tackle this first because it's the simplest when I get back to coding. But I want to playtest a new mechanic where instead of rolling your dice, your damage multiplier at the end of a round, you roll it at the beginning of a round. And both opponents in the game, the Urge and the player, get to know what each other rolled. So if at the beginning of the round I roll a 4 and the Urge rolls a 7, that may make me want to play more conservatively. Whereas if the tables are turned, I roll a 7 and the Urge rolls a 2, I'm going to play very aggressively. Or I might play a card combination that has low digits, a low sum, because I know that I have that high multiplier. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I'm very excited to see how that changes the way that we as players strategize in the match against the Urge. And the logic for that is going to be pretty interesting to implement. I'm not quite sure how to implement the AI logic for responding to the damage multiplier yet. I think it would be sort of like a min-max algorithm, but I'm not quite sure. So, that's what's going on and coming up in the world of development in the game. I have tons of lore to introduce you to coming up. There are 4 more Archons that I have lore for, Arya being the one that's coming out at the end of this week. And then up next, we'll tackle another Archon whose name I won't mention yet because I haven't decided who is next. Development continues once I finish this game design document. I am on the hook to finish it by Tuesday morning, so a couple of days from now. And then I'm hoping to get back to my regularly scheduled Twitter and Facebook programming once this trip is over. So about 9 more days, and I'll be back home and we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming on Twitter. But because I've been taking care of family and spending time with my aunt, it's just not possible for me to juggle everything that I do every day. I have 2 jobs and this as a third job. And so there's lots to get done. But we're getting it done. And I hope you found this little look into development of the game exciting. If you have any comments or questions, hit me up in the comments below. Or if you're a little shy and don't want to say anything in public, or for whatever reason you just want to DM me, head over to Play AA Games on Twitter or Facebook and send me a message. Alright? Thanks for joining us. I do hope to see you in the next video. Tap that like button if you enjoyed yourself. Hit the subscribe for future game updates. And I will see you in the next one. Keep your eyes on the stars. That's where mine will be.